It is Monday and I'm fasting. And as I like to do when I'm fasting, I'm going live. So we'll see where the conversation goes. I was considering talking a little bit, leading the conversation a little bit more about my awakening and my journey through that, but we'll see. Sometimes I get sidetracked. So if you're interested in that, I'm thinking I'm going to talk about that a little. And if not, well, sometimes that's how these lives go. Hey, what's up, Cadence? What's going on, dude Sawyer? I'm gonna let it just fill up a little, guys, before I really get into anything. I don't know what all these crowns are. What are these crowns? Oh, cool. Top fans. That means you guys are freaking awesome. As I was getting on, guys, I fast often on Mondays. Like I don't eat at all today. And usually when I'm fasting, it's when I feel most like going live. So here we are. No sugar, Cody. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hopping on. Usually I let my Facebook followers and my Instagram followers know too, but I thought just to maybe keep the comments a little less crazy, I wouldn't let them know. So try to just give my YouTube people a little bit more time because I appreciate you guys. I did let my Facebook subscribers know because I appreciate them a ton. Hello from Florida. It is a beautiful day today. I mean, I spent the majority of it outside. I got my posting and work done really early this morning, and I already know and have everything prepared for tomorrow. So biked like 25 miles, got an outdoor workout on, got in some water down at the beach. It's just a beautiful day today in Southwest Florida. Al Bashard, thank you, my friend. Yeah, let's talk about the Super Bowl show. I mentioned maybe talking a little bit about just my whole awakening to the truth and going through that a little because I've never really done that on a live. I don't think I've done subscriber videos on it, but we'll see where this goes. What did I think? I did a post on it today. So if you didn't see my post, basically what my post was actually saying that the Turning Point halftime show was to me more evil than the Bad Bunny show. And my post basically goes into show that all those, the Turning Point show is a bunch of wolves in sheep's clothing. And I prefer my wolves to be wolves, as much as I think they're little baby wolves and I don't really give them credit for being wolves, they're still deceivers. Bad Bunny is very clearly, you know, not a good dude. Flashes the symbolism. He's wearing dresses. He's doing the devil horns. He's doing the 666 and the all seeing eye and all the stuff. Very out in the open. But to the uninitiated, you go thinking you're turning the channel to support America and Christianity. Well, most people don't realize that those are a bunch of Satan loving fallen angel Luciferians as well. And to me, they're the more evil ones because they're claiming to be the good ones, but they're just as bad. They're the light side of their duality. So my post was basically outing Kid Rock and Lee Bryce and whoever the other entertainers were in that bogus, more Christian, more family. The whole thing was like faith, family. What was it? It was three F's: faith, family. I forget the third F, but it was FFF, which is the sixth letter of the alphabet, which is 666. And they were just like right out in the open about it, And for anyone with eyes to see, that Turning Point stuff is just as big of nonsense as there is. So, long answer to a short question. That was my thoughts on it. And and speaking of the Super Bowl, just in general, someone emailed me this today, and I thought it was awesome. And he might be on, but the name of the Super Bowl quarterback, Sam Darnold, darn old. darn old. Like maybe he's one of the fallen ones and has been here a long time. I'm gonna have to really like watch an interview with him and see if I have any facial recognition trigger. But my guess would be if he's winning the Super Bowl, he's one of the fallen angels. Something every time I see him, I get like an or like Eddie Munster or one of the kids from the Burbs or something. There's like there's something there, and I just haven't put my finger on it. So yeah, you know, Super Bowl's all nonsense. And I don't know if you guys saw my post 2 days ago. I basically was saying the Super Bowl's biggest secret isn't that it's fixed and scripted like it absolutely is, and not all of it, but most of it. The outcomes, a lot of times, especially for the Super Bowl and playoffs. But their biggest secret is that it's the National Fallen Angel Association, because there are a whole bunch of fallen angels playing football in the NFL. Not all of them. There's of course real humans in there, like but your big time stars, as they say. Yeah, football, exactly. But your big time stars, as they say. Hey, that's funny. Phil Mickelson. I used to get that all the time as a kid. I haven't really gotten that as an adult, but as like a teenager, oh, look at that. They freeze it at 333 people in here yet again. Every single time it gets frozen at 333 and 666. And usually, like right now, oh, I clicked and it went down. Hilarious. It went down 6. Yeah, of course they're messing with me. Spiro, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that so much. Every time I get on here, guys, you're just all too kind. I get so much love and support in these lives that it's always an ego boost, and I try to like never have ego, even though like I'm sarcastic in my videos and like come across as egotistical, but I ham it up a little bit for viewership. So the views, like I don't care about clicks and likes and money. I care about views because I want to reach as many people as possible. And sometimes the sarcasm helps with that. I was never sarcastic when I first started doing my videos. And then I started doing it because I was getting censored so much that I literally was frustrated and getting like sarcastic because of the algorithm and the censorship. And then that kind of just stuck. But I'm not, I like to be sarcastic, but I'm not an overly, I mean, you can see in my lives, I'm not like a snide, sarcastic jerk. Like I think some people think I might be. Yeah, Karen Carpenter, Celine Dion. Yeah, so. What blew my mind more than that is Karen Carpenter's brother is Michael C. Hall, who plays Dexter. I saw it immediately. Actually, I shouldn't say that because when I first saw him, he's got a similar face to what's his name? Um, the dad from the Fockers movies, and not Ben Stiller. The dad, Dustin Hoffman. He has a similar face to Dustin Hoffman, but it's definitely Celine Dion's brother, or Karen Carpenter's brother is Michael C. Hall, Dexter. And they like clown on it too with how bad Dexter's wig is in some of the shows. I think I just saw what it say. Someone said, "Oh, can't even enjoy Little House on the Prairie anymore." Yeah, so we have friends in Florida, and they have two small girls, and I think my wife Liza recommended that they watch Little House on the Prairie based on like things she had seen, and then yeah, I mean like if it's on TV, there's some sort of symbolism or some sort of fallen angel on it, or some sort of you know uh, what do you call it, like innuendo, or there's something on everything on TV because it's on TV. TV isn't meant to entertain us; it's meant to indoctrinate and brainwash us. Why do we keep this? Let's. I love that question. Why do you think they keep the same facial marks? I had someone yesterday mention. I don't know if it was in a comment or someone emailed me, but someone said, like they gave the thought of reincarnation in like past lives. If you had like a scar, then it becomes a mole. But I don't think it's that. I think I did a video on how there's a shape-shifting octopus that can literally, like, it can look like a snake. It can get on a rock and it will look exactly like the rock. But if you think about that, if that octopus has like a big scar, like, yeah, it's going to be able to change colors and shift like a chameleon, but like those scars remain. So I think they have these abilities are built in, like these are shape-shifting fallen angels. Even biblically speaking, angels can appear as different things. So I think here in Earth, they still have some shape shifting capabilities, but they can't shift out of their like uh, personal markings, if that makes sense. You know, like I think they have to focus and I think they have to concentrate. And I think you can change an overall look by their ability, but I think to like focus and change little minute scars and the things I find, I just think it's not part of their innate ability. So, you know, I don't know if that's a great thing or a great answer, but that's my thoughts. Lethargic. Jerry Seinfeld is Jeffrey Epstein. You know what? I don't agree, my friend. I will have to look at the wives. No, if you haven't seen my video, I did a video probably 2 weeks ago now on all Seinfeld, all the characters. Jerry Seinfeld was Jerry Lewis, 100% sure of it. Just like Kramer was. I don't know why I always forget his name. I'm not even going to remember it, but it's like all these, all these. Just go watch my Seinfeld video. I think it's undeniable. Seinfeld was Jerry Lewis. Jerry Seinfeld talks about Jerry Lewis all the time. The thing that's tricky about that one is that Jerry Lewis had like a little bit of an outward chin, kind of like mine, and Jerry Seinfeld has like a pushed in chin. And even though they're angels, I think like they do procedures to make themselves look different. Sometimes I think that's what their chin scars are, is to like really shape a chin differently for deception purposes. Dean Martin, yeah, thank you. I don't know why I always forget Dean Martin's name. Always. But it's that one's, I mean, you can just look at Dean Martin. I watched a roast of Betty White, a roast of Betty White with Dean Martin in it. And I mean, I'm watching Dean Martin laugh, and I used to be the biggest Seinfeld fan. I've watched probably every episode of Seinfeld 20 times. And as soon as, yeah, but like I'm too young to have like been around with Dean Martin, so I never really experienced him. But as I'm watching Dean Martin like laugh at this roast, I'm like, that's freaking Cosmo Kramer. I knew it was Michael Richards. And then, you know, I did the rest of what I do, and it's definitely Dean Martin, and Jerry is definitely Jerry Lewis, and George is Bob Hope, and Elaine is Betty White. Um, who else? Is it Bing Crosby? Bing Crosby played like a smaller role in Seinfeld, and I can't think of his name in it. He was like George's childhood competition guy. I can't. I don't know why. Like I'm usually so good at names from being a teacher for so long, but when I get on lives, names just slip my mind for some reason. Probably because I'm putting like so much focus in talking and using visuals. Hey, what's up, old world? I don't know if I'm gifted, guys. I mean, I think we're all gifted. I think I just was lucky enough to figure out what my gift was and be caring enough about truth and people being deceived that I use my gifts for good. And I think we all have gifts. I think we're all supposed to figure out what they are and use them for good. Use them to help people. Yeah, Robert De Niro was in Meet the Fockers, but Dustin Hoffman too. That's who I was thinking of earlier. Thank you, though. Hey, greetings, my friend. Greetings. The guy that was on Airwolf looks like Tom Cruise. I don't know Airwolf. I don't know that. I've done a video. Tom Cruise has like 5 different personas, characters. I did a video on 4 or 5 of them. The craziest one to me, um, is that, oh, shit, I was gonna forget names again, but the craziest one to me that people can't see unless you watch my video if you haven't seen it, because it's hard to see, but Tom Cruise played Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'm, like, 98% sure on that one. I don't know about George Strait. Um, I mean, I'm sure George Strait is part of the club, but I don't know personas of George Strait. Yeah, so I saw a comment about a sister. Guys, I have 2 younger brothers who I basically, like the 3 me and my 2 younger brothers, the 3 of us grew up with my mom. My mom basically my dad was around, but, like, he didn't really raise us. It was my mom and me and my 2 brothers, and I'm the oldest by, like, 5 or 6 years, so I helped raise my brothers, and I just always was looking out for them, always had their best interest at heart, always, like, doing my best to, like, have their back, and, while they love me still, they do not agree with a single thing. No, nothing. I've done, like, 1,000 videos, and they haven't been able to say they see the truth in any of it. My mom either. My mom has come a little bit. I think she's opened her mind a little to some of the stuff I've talked about, like, I the one she really sees is, Robin Williams being Uncle Pappy. Um, but you know what? On the siblings, we're all on our different path, and I would like to think if someone tapped me on the shoulder other than the Heavenly Father and said, "Tyler, look at this. We've been lied to, and I want you to see some things," that I would have had an open mind. But I don't know. I don't know because I woke myself up. No one woke me up. Well, other than her father. But you just gotta have patience and show your sister love, my friend. It's hard though. I know, especially when they're rude and sarcastic and condescending. But just kill them with love and kindness. Can I take a look at Susan? Let me see. Can you take a look at John Denver and parents? And Dr. Mengele and wife. I don't know Dr. Mengele and wife, but so John Denver. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me screenshot that because I don't know John Mengele, but I'll screenshot it to look, especially for that super kind super chat. Thank you. But you got to look up my John Denver videos. So John Denver was the first person that I ever found. So he faked his death, became the alligator, or no, crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin. So John Denver faked his death, became Steve Irwin, and then he was the first one I ever found a third character. So he went John Denver, Steve Irwin, who was the crocodile hunter. Now he is currently Steve Backshall, who is basically the crocodile hunter of Australia. I've done a video. You got to look it up. I got the waves, the whole bit. So check that one out. I want to say I did that one 7 months ago. I'm sure if you probably type in Steve Irwin and Steve Backshall, they didn't even change their names on that one. And John Denver, it'll probably come up in YouTube. YouTube doesn't censor they censor my flat earth videos more than some of my fallen angel videos. Thank you though, Susan. Hopefully that helps, and I appreciate the super chat. And lethargic, let's see. But we know they don't just cross between 2 characters. Epstein has the same exact facial marks. Sometimes Youngblood changes too, like Dave Chappelle. I mean, I'll tell you what, the Epstein, and I agree, lethargic. They definitely have play multiple roles. It's not just 1 or 2. And boy, they love their duality, and I could not think of more of duality than Jerry Seinfeld and Jeffrey Epstein. So I'll look into it. I won't. I don't discount anything for sure. Um, so I'll check it out. I will. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Jerry Seinfeld and Jeffrey Epstein. Now I gotta. I I don't. I just don't think Jerry's wife looks like. Um, but was Epstein married to Maxwell Gilzane, or are they just like partners in crime? I don't even know if Epstein has a wife. Does he? But I'll look. I'll check that out for sure. Let's see. Women of Wisdom, thank you for joining the membership, my friend. All sorts of extra content in there, guys. And I always say this anytime someone starts doing membership stuff, I love it and appreciate it. But if you're doing it here, you're just getting extra content. If you go to Facebook, there's a community of awesome people there that are always sharing and posting. You can like post in just a Facebook subscribers area where there aren't the trolls, and if you're nervous about posting something, or if you want to like show me something, like if you want to like post Jerry Seinfeld and Jeff Epstein, you can do that in that area. And unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have anything like that, which is kind of good for me because I'm already spread so thin trying to keep up with communicating and doing extra content and research and making videos and editing and trying to not become a chubby boy by sitting around too much. I'm guys, when I was a teacher, I used to move all day, every day. I would work out before school. I'd walk on my lunch. I was a strength and conditioning teacher, so I was up circulating. I'd work out after school. I'd coach after school, and now I'm like, I need to get like a standing walking desk or something to be able to keep moving because I just don't move as much as I used to, which isn't good as I'm getting older. Hey, Greg, thank you. My friend, no question or anything, just wanted to throw me a super chat. I appreciate that greatly. Thank you so much. Well, so I don't know if I agree Jack Nicholson became Matt Damon. I have seen people that makes me think Jack Nicholson became Leonardo DiCaprio. There's some interesting comparisons with that one. Why do I think flat Earth is more shadow banned than vampires? I don't know. YouTube has just been always really censored with flat Earth. And here's, I guess I'll give my 2 cents on that because you can go out and prove the Earth is flat. You just need some videos to pique your interest and see normal, intelligent, calm, rational people showing evidence, like being able to see Chicago from. I think I filmed it from 70 miles away. And once you see that stuff, it's hard to not let it open your mind. And you can like prove it with actual science, real science. And then you get to the fallen angel stuff, and it probably just sounds totally batshit crazy to most people. So maybe that's why. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they want people starting to wake up to fallen angels. Fallen angels love to be talked about. Like they want our attention. I think that's part of the reason they don't censor my stuff. Radman, thank you, my friend. I'm not even going to try to say that whole name, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You almost never get notifications about my channel. Yeah, so I mean, when I first started posting, it was only on TikTok, like because that's TikTok helped wake me up because they weren't censoring things. And guys, if you don't know, that was the whole China stealing your information thing was to scare people away from TikTok because it was going wild for truth. And I thought it was just a stupid teeny bopper. As a teacher, I was watching these high school kids like do TikTok dance, and I'm like, TikTok's the stupidest thing ever. And then once I started to, like peel back the layers of the onion a little bit, my wife like she's like, hey, like sometimes I see like conspiracy stuff on TikTok. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And then like when I was like seeing flat Earth stuff right away on there, not censored, it just was like showing up in my feed. I'm like, huh. So, but now TikTok is the worst platform. I mean, like the worst. I'm so censored on there. I'm on like final account ban warning right now. And I would say honestly, Facebook and Instagram have become the least censored platforms, which used to be some of the most censored. I think they just like go in cycles. They're like, let's let, these people learn some truth. And then now it's like the Facebook generation that they want to, learn some truth for whatever reason. 20 years as a Navy, in the Navy, sailed every sea. The earth is most definitely flat. Absolutely, my friend. What upsets me is my brother is a boat captain. He's been a boat captain a long time, and he refuses to acknowledge it because he sees, like things going down like hull first, or like when he's getting to the lighthouse, it's like coming over the curve. I'm like, no, bro, I love you, but you've just been taught wrong. There's other explanations. Unfortunately, and good for you, the narrow way, for being able to see through it. Because most often, the most educated people on subjects are like the hardest to get to see it. Can I look up Rami Malek on SNL? Says he plays everyone. Felt like it was an inside joke. That's the dude that played Freddie Mercury, right? Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got a lot of characters. I'm sure. How does my brother explain torpedoes? I mean, I don't. My brothers won't have conversations about this stuff, unfortunately. Um, unfortunately, you know what? My wife and I always say that, it's funny because I like, part of me always is like, man, if like my mom or my brothers would watch my videos but without my face, with like someone else's face. Sometimes I think it's like because their brother is telling them, or their son. I'm always like, I think if they would just watch it with someone different, that they would be able to see it, but it's like they're blocked. But there's also another part of me that my wife and I came up with this theory that if my mom and brothers were to like wake up and know the truth of everything that I talk about and everything that most of you guys know, then it might it might put out my flame and passion for doing this a little bit. Like I still would be super passionate, but I think like part of my desire to share with the world is because I can't share with those closest with me. So I think it's almost like my wife and I are like, is it actually like, is God not letting them see because he wants me helping millions of people see instead of, just those closest to me? I don't know. I like to think that might be part of it, and that it's not just that they think I'm a moron, and maybe it's actually some, you know, spell from God. Yeah, too many people anchored in this world, my friend. I agree. If you met any of the people from your videos, would you ask them about past persona? Oh, that's a great question. And so, my wife and I, it was kind of crappy in our area for a few days, and we actually took a road trip down to Key West. We had never been to the Keys. It's like a 5 hour drive for us. We're like, let's check it out. So we went down to Key West just this last week, and we went out to dinner. And I kid you not, of all people in the world to be out to dinner, and you hear that they're filming a new show at the restaurant next to you, it was Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn went to my high school. I've done a video on Vince Vaughn. He was Sid Luft in a prior life. So yeah, I was seeking him out. But so they had wrapped filming for the day, and I like told my wife, I'm like, I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna find him tomorrow so I can say, hey, Sid Luft, or or say something about Judy Garland. And the next day was crappy and raining out, and they didn't film. And then we were leaving the next day, so I never had an opportunity. But I was like, he's either going to punch me in the face, because if he saw my video, I said something about him having like saggy ball sacks under his eyes, just like Sid Luft. And like, I'm not always I'm never that rude in a video. So like for the one person to be filming down there, the guy that went to my high school that I literally did a video on to see if I could prove without a doubt that these people, these beings, these angels could age reduce and then get older. And I proved it because I found Sid Luft. It was just wild. I was like, this is meant to be like, oh, he's either going to punch me in the face or he's going to like try to buy me a beer because he's going to want to pick my brain. But I never got the opportunity. I was super bummed. I was really wanted to make that happen. So yeah, I would definitely say something to one of them. I have no fear of them, none at all. I didn't want to get punched in the face, but I could handle it for, you know, I probably deserved it on that one for once. You met Aaron Carter in QS? That's wild. Um, David Blaine has a new show called Being Human. How interesting. Fake. It should say Faking Human is what it should say. You worked with Andy Kaufman, aka Nicolas Cage. That's that's pretty wild. Your parents think that the Jesus actor dude is Caitlin Clark. No, Jonathan Rumi was not Caitlin Clark. He's a different CC. He's Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. I've done probably 5 videos on that one. He's definitely not Caitlin Clark, but he's definitely Chris Cornell. Hey, Gurgle, welcome, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you joining the membership. Yeah, guys, I see someone says you really don't say Jesus anymore. What do you say? So, and like I've been getting crazy attacked for this the past 2 weeks, and I knew it would, like guys, I have nothing but love and truth and honesty and good in my heart. I have zero deception, zero. And I'm still a big time believer in our Heavenly Father and the Bible and that He sent a Messiah down here. I just don't agree with the names anymore. I don't. When I pray to the Most High, Heavenly Father. Now, there is a big camp of people now, like getting back to what they used to be called, like really early biblical times and what the early Bible said before they were manipulated, and it's Yahuwah and Yahusha. And I'm not there yet. I'm not there in my prayer. I'm really leaning towards those being the names of our literal Father in heaven. And when I'm saying Father, like I'm very anti all the fallen angels, especially Lucifer and Trump. Like, I have no allegiance. I am in no secret societies. I'm not trying to deceive anyone or lead anyone the wrong way. I'm just following my heart and my truth, and it's leading me to really think that God and Lord and Jesus aren't the names. Um, and when, like, I'm such an open book and I'm just honest all the time, and I can't do anything but pour out my heart and my truth into my videos as well. So I felt the need to share that with people. It's in no way trying to lead people astray or deceive people or make people turn their back on Jesus, because I'm a big Jesus guy. I just don't think that's his name. So thank you for asking. And, people, you guys wouldn't even believe the attacks I got, especially from, hopefully he's watching that clown Garo, Jurassic, whatever. The dude literally said, I'm going to burn in hell and I'm the devil because I say I believe in the Bible. I just don't think his name is Jesus. Well, no, his name was never Jesus back when he walked the earth. That's 1000% accurate. So you're calling him by the wrong name, even if that's what you think the translation is. So I don't know if that guy's a deceiver, and I'm not going to spend more than 5 seconds talking about him. I don't know if he's a deceiver, but he's sure a fearmonger. He sure pushes one thing. And usually when you push one thing like that guy, you've been given an assignment like that there's going to be a flood in Seattle, and fear, fear, fear is what that guy pushes. So I hope he's watching, and personally, I hope he's just deceived himself and that he's not a deceiver because whatever, I'm done talking about him. And guys, yeah, man, people have been telling me, like, good hearted, kind people have been telling me for a year and a half that Jesus isn't his name. And I rejected that. I rejected that because I was such a strong believer in the Bible. But then the more I got into seeing these false Christians like Jelly Roll and Russell Brand and Mark Wahlberg and Jesus, Chris Cornell, Jonathan Rumi, like my brain's just like something's not adding up here. And then the Charlie Kirk nonsense and them pushing all that stuff, like it took the wool off my eyes on, hey, the people who I actually do think are trying to tell me the truth that his name isn't Jesus and that it's not God and not Lord, like maybe they're actually onto something because they're not lying to me. I always thought they were wrong, but I knew they weren't lying to me. So anyway, yeah, see, we got some praise Yah and Yahusha and Yahuwah. If you guys don't know, look up Yahuwah Nation, John Truth. He and I have been, chatting good amount. He is just a good dude that cares. And if you don't follow him, you should. The Son of God knows our hearts. You know what? I always said that too, but here's just like a quick example that always comes to my mind. Me and my two brothers, okay? There's three of us. If we all call my father, my biological father, by a different name, like dad, pa, and father, like he doesn't care. They're all representation of who he is. But if my brother calls him mom and I call him ma, and like someone else, my other brother says something like, no, he doesn't want to be called by my mom's name, that's going to probably bother him a little bit. So it's just, pretty sure our Heavenly Father doesn't want to be called by Lucifer's name or Zeus, who are the same. So anyway, let's move on. I've talked about this stuff enough the past few days, and I've made some videos. If you haven't seen my videos, go check them out. But just to clarify again, there's zero deception. There's zero me trying to lead people astray. It's just me seeking as much truth as I can, and I'm an open book, so I share that truth that I believe. Okay. Heavenly Father. And, so like I've been praying to the Most High Heavenly Father for a year and a half. That's like where my prayers go. And I've experienced some pretty amazing things through fasting and prayer the past 2 years. So something tells me my prayers are going the right direction. If that, like almost every time I fast and pray, I experience something out of this world, like in a good, positive way, especially for my longer fasts. Yes, there are two Erica Kirks, one current born in 1930s, and she was the wife of former governor of Florida. I have seen that several times in my subscriber area. I just haven't done a video on it because I got so burned out on doing Charlie Kirk and Erica, or, I just got burned up on that stuff. So I haven't done that. But yes, I've seen those pictures of them, and it's like undeniable, I would say. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Mickey, with these fallen angels in politics in Hollywood, what happens when new people flood the system? They obviously aren't fallen angels, so how does that work? Well, no, so that's the thing is like you don't get past a certain level unless you are. And what I've come to realize really just these past few months is they're they go to insane lengths to make it look organic. Like they're age reducing and even going through high school again. Vince Vaughn went through high school again to make it seem like an organic trip into Hollywood. That's wild. Like when you're here, when you're alive thousands of years and you're stuck in Earth, time is so different to you. When you have, and that's how they do all this predictive programming is because they can plan stuff out. It never made sense to me. I was like, how are these Freemasons like, man, they got their crap together that they can like do this stuff 100 years ago that's happening today and it's predictive programming. Well, no, when you're here all along, time is much different that you can plan stuff out and just make sure it goes as planned because you have all the time in the world to make it happen. So anyone that's coming up that seems like they're through the ranks, it's not. It's like look at American Idol. Like Carrie Underwood came up through American Idol. No, that was just all orchestrated to make it look organic. Nothing's organic. Anything we see on TV and Hollywood and the government and the music industry, nothing's organic. It's all preordained, not preordained, predetermined. Just like I think they script out their plan, their life plan basically, and they because they know what they're going to do. Like a good example of this is Werner von Braun, who is now Elon Musk. When he was Werner von Braun, he wrote a book called The Mars Mission, and he named the guy Elon in the book because he knew he was going to fake his death and then just get age reduced to Elon. I don't know. Elon has a little bit of like a backstory, but a lot of the pictures look fake to me, like AI fake baldness and no, I think they use AI on us, but they do absolutely shapeshift and age reduce, and they plan it all out. Elon's proof of that. So are the books with Baron Trump, the time traveler and the last president, the Ingersoll Lockwood books. It's all just predictive programming from fallen angels. It's wild. I didn't realize that at first, though. Like a year ago, I was doing fake deaths, but I didn't realize I was talking about fallen angels a year ago, but I was thinking of it more in like a spiritual in the background, kind of like behind the scenes. No, they're right up front and center because that's what they love. They want the attention. Clock 99 times says, so all the media are fallen angels. How can you tell about others besides the obvious? So I wouldn't say all the media. I would say all the, big time media. And that's the thing is like people are always like, there's only 200. How are there, like you're uncovering so many, how there have to be more than 200. There are more than 200. I think there's millions down here. I think the 200 are the watchers, the ones that are like the big time faces, the presidents, the big time actors. But the Bible says like, the 200 is a different group of angels than the third. The third talks about it being myriads and myriads, which I think a myriad in the Bible is, or in biblical terms, is 1,000. So it could be thousands and thousands, or it could be 1,000 times 1,000. Like I think there are potentially millions of fallen angels here. And thank you for the kind super chat, my friend. Yes, and exactly. Shooting stars. Those are angels coming down here for sure. Those are the fallen ones. Or there's even a little part of me that thinks they can somehow, some way travel the stars, like come up and down, and that's how they're everywhere all the time because they don't have to be in airplanes and cars, and even if they have underground like railroads that go super fast, I there's something more to it. Star portals, maybe. I don't know. Portals are a real thing. Yeah, exactly. As Timmy said, portals the second, like it came up on the screen a second after I said it. Portals are, that's why it's called Portland. Yeah, I think they travel underground too, but I think they got, if you ever seen the thing called the Secret Covenant, they even talk about being able to travel the stars in that. Let's see. Let me clear the screen here. Thanks for all the Far Tree, my friend. Far Tree says Darius Wright wife and Tristan Tate's wife have symmetry. Yeah, I don't think I had checked their wives yet. I had because and Darius Wright was just too hot on the scene and saying too many good things that I just at first I thought he was maybe Andrew Tate because I've never been a Andrew Tate guy. I didn't even realize that Andrew and Far Tree. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I didn't even realize Andrew Tate had a brother when I was thinking that when I saw the facial recognition of Andrew Tate and Darius Wright. But then I found out he had a brother, and then I did Darius Wright and Andrew Tate's brother, and I was like, that's just him. That's just him. But I think when I did that, it was even before I was overly on the scene with the wives, when I wasn't 100% that wives the wives come with him like 90% of the time. What did I have for supper? I had some water and some oxygen because I'm fasting today. I'm just trying to be funny. I had some water with some Celtic sea salt in it and some good old fresh Florida air. Oh, my friend Christy, I couldn't live that life. Like, that's why I'm sitting here. I quit my job. I moved states. I unplugged from the system as much as I could. I couldn't do it. I was like, I took a semester off teaching when I first woke up because I was like, I'm going to get fired if I go back to school. Because so I woke up like as a teacher, I have summer break, obviously, and I woke up like leading into summer. And like in June is when I really came to the knowledge of flat Earth of like 20, what was it, 2023? 2023. And during that summer, I'm just trying to get my bearings back about me and I'm going down every rabbit hole possible because I'm on summer break and I have all day, every day to do this. And I'm just an extreme person. Like if I do something, I'm all in. I came out at the end of summer and I was like, my head was like, holy crap. And it was time to go back to school. I was like, said to my wife, I was like, I don't think I can go back and not get fired. Um, so I got a medical, I literally had to see a therapist, not because I was going crazy, but because I wanted to try to get a medical leave for the semester. I was granted one and I had 20 years of sick days saved up. So I got paid for that I took the entire semester off and got paid for it and like got my bearings back. Like I wasn't like, there's fallen angels and fake deaths and earth's flat. Like I wasn't like fire hosing everyone like I was when I first woke up. Got my bearings back about me and was like, I'm going to school and I'm going to flip tables and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to try to like attack these lies from the inside. Went back to school second semester and that lasted like 2 months before I was like, I can't do this. I like they wouldn't let me. They even told me like if a kid asked me if I thought the earth was flat, I had to say no. I was like, that's not happening. I'm not lying. I'm not lying to kids about my opinion. In hindsight, man, I wish I would have said like that's going against my religious beliefs because that just works in school. And at the time, I just didn't think about like tying flat Earth into biblical cosmology and kind of sticking it to them. But yeah, my friend, I couldn't keep living the life I was living. I had to change. I had to get out of the school system, and I was going to just get a driving job like a FedEx or UPS or something. And it was tough to give up my pension, give up my summers off, winters off, spring breaks off, thinking I'm gonna be like, like have to work every day the rest of my life and figure out what I'm gonna do for like I hadn't saved a ton. I was relying on my teacher pension. So I gave up a lot to just do what I thought was right because I didn't want to be part brainwashing kids anymore, which is even crazy because I wasn't brainwashing kids. Kids that I didn't disagree with a single thing that I taught in my strength and conditioning classes because I could run the curriculum. So I was not teaching about it. I wasn't teaching about the food pyramid, that's for sure. Because I was very awake to the nutrition scams for a long time, just not fallen angels and flat earth and the rest of it. So anyway, long story to a short comment, but yeah, just you don't need to, and I can't just tell you to get out of it. I need to give you advice here. Just do it slowly, unplug slowly. Like start, if you can't quit your job, well, start start a side hustle, start making some income doing something you enjoy. Like that's what I did. I honestly had no idea when I started posting on TikTok, it wasn't for money. It was because no one would listen to me in my personal life and I needed to like get it out of me. Um, but I was super passionate about it right away. And then one day I probably had like 20,000 followers. My wife's like, "Hey, do you know like if you just click a button on TikTok, you can make money?" I was like, "Oh, that'd be cool." Like seeing as I'm like quitting my teaching job, like making 100 extra bucks a month. And anyway, so what I'm saying is start a side hustle, start trying to find some income from a side hustle and just and take it slow. Unplug from, the supermarket stores, try to find farmers markets, unplug from everything that you can, but slowly. Just do it slowly. Um, Adam, hey, Adam, it's my friend Adam. Do you think there are human beings being granted longer lives, selling their souls? One might say, I don't know. I've gone so back and forth with that. Part of me thinks, like I did think that for once, or for sure, Adam, at one point. And thank you for the super chat, my friend. Good to see you on here. Uh, I did think that, but part of me thinks that's a deception now. I think it's part of me really thinks that might be a fallen angel deception, like clones, like to just hide that aspect of the angels always being here and millions of them being here, maybe. Now, do I think they have med beds and healing frequencies and stuff like that? Yeah, but I don't think that's getting you past 120 years. I don't think that's allowing you to live, like these presidents who have been around for hundreds of years. So I'm really leaning into that being more of a deception. And even maybe the gold juice video I did, even potentially being deception stuff to just truly hide the full on fallen angel narrative. And I don't know, I think about it often and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm leaning the more and more I see that there's evidence of them being fallen angels, like them calling them stars and putting wings on things like they always tell us. The more and more I get into it, the more I just think it's fallen angels and it's not humans. I did think at one point it was like humans that could like be granted longer life, but I don't know if I think that anymore. Guys, someone I feel like maybe I missed a super chat. I hope not. Yeah, the 120 years. I mean, I definitely did videos speculating that, like Tom Brady was potentially like a human that just, could drink blood. But I think the blood stuff, I think that's more about being an angel. I do. I don't think it's like humans doing that. I think it's the angels that have to do that. I don't think they would extend human lives when we have the chance to go back to heaven with their Father, and they are so many fallen. Why would they? Yeah, that's what I think is like, and I think that's part of why they hate us is because our souls can ascend back to heaven, and I think they're just trapped here in those meat suits that they don't want to be in, and they miss their wings and they miss flying because they sing about it, and they take pictures. Like Michael Phelps doing like his like wing flap, like that's all just like tributes to their wings that they miss. um, Cher is saved by grace. Are you trying to say something, guys? So I'll say this. There's obviously a ton of comments on here, but if you're a member, you're highlighted in green. So like my members, I try to give a little bit more attention to, like just how it is. It's just a kindness to them for people who are a part of my membership. But And then obviously anyone who's doing like a super chat, I obviously see those. So I always read the super chats. Like there's one right here from Fartree again. Super chat missed was from about Dave Matthews. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. I definitely didn't see that one. Somehow I miss super chats. Like I don't know if I ramble too long, if they go away, and I don't know how to get them back. Um, what I do here. Um, so I would love to see the Dave Matthews one. If you put the Dave Matthews one back up, or um, it's funny. Thanks Flex Peel. I appreciate it. I used to be a huge Dave Matthews fan when I was in high school, and haven't listened to Dave Matthews ever, or not ever, in so long. And when we were in Key West, he came on during we were at a restaurant, and he came on, and Liza, my wife, and I really enjoyed the song. And then we listened a little bit more in the on our drive home. But my guess could potentially be it because I don't see it. Oh, is who is Dave Matthews or who was? I need to look. He's someone. He's definitely an angel. He is for sure. Oh, it was me. It was you, Fartree. My apologies. Um, I haven't looked into Dave, but I will, especially if you're asking, because I appreciate you greatly. Um, yeah, I'll look into Dave. I need to just watch an interview with him because he's a very unique speaking and moving person. It's just the problem is like if he was someone in the past that I wasn't familiar with, that doesn't help me any, but there's uh there's a chance. And it's some catch me off guard. Some like for example, Nicolas Cage, I grew up watching Con Air and so many different Nicolas Cage movies and I've seen his face 1,000 times, but sometimes I haven't looked at those faces knowing what I know now. And one day, like after a year of doing facial recognition and celebrity deaths and stuff like that, I was just looking at him like, that's freaking Andy Kaufman. So sometimes they just hit me. And even though I just have like never thought about their face in terms of they could have been different people. But I'll check out Dave for sure, my friend. Yeah, Adam Sandler is Bob Dylan. Yep, I've done a video. If you haven't seen it, definitely Bob Dylan. Now I do think there is probably a second Bob Dylan. I don't think he's always Bob Dylan, but definitely he was definitely young Bob Dylan, 100%. There's like a lot of facial markings on that one, very unique too. If you haven't seen the video, look it up. I have no idea what year we are in. Zero. We definitely don't think we're in 2026. No idea. I personally think there's maybe 900 years added. Maybe we're more in like 1,026. But because I'm a big, we're living in the short season, and I think the Dark Ages were actually the millennial reign, and that's why they call them the Dark Ages because Trump was locked up in the bottomless pit. And I didn't misspeak; I meant Trump. Let's see. Sale, Connecticut. We were watching a long movie planned way before we were born. Oh, way before. Yeah. And yeah, like so long before. It's wild. It's wild to think about. It really is. And it's like, God, I just like a big part of me wants to wake people up because I just care and I love people and I hate liars and I hate lies. But another part of me wants to wake people up because it's like, I used to be bored. I'd be bored. I'm never bored now. There's always something to learn because we were all taught so wrong. And it's like, I want to wake my brothers up who are like, bros, you could be learning about, like, my youngest brother and I used to be, or like still are, Lord of the Rings fans. We're like, bro, dragons are real. You should know that. You would think that's awesome. And he's like, like, So part of me wants to wake people up just because it's freaking crazy and cool and mind blowing. Um, but the bigger part is just because I just care and I hate liars. Yeah, people definitely don't want to be awakened. And, like, I don't really try to do it anymore. I used to, you can't wake people up forcefully. So I just try to put out information so people who are looking for information can find it. That's why I don't miss a day. I think I've missed like a day or two the past. I've been posting, I think I started posting on TikTok in like July or August of 2023. So what would that be? 23, 24, 25? It's like 2.5 years. Yeah, moving on. I've probably missed 1 or 2 days in 2.5 years, and probably because I was either sick or traveling or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I think I don't think I think that Leviathan's waking up because I've explored so much of that area, and that's like that thing's petrified. No, nothing's waking up from being petrified. There's dragons and stuff all over. Like everything we walk on was a dragon. Pretty sure everything. And there's giants and more dragons and other beings and stuff petrified on top of them. But I don't, I don't know if I think that Leviathan thing is still alive. I don't think so. Billy Zane, Marlon Brando. Huh. Never seen that one. That's interesting. I could just like off the bat, I could see some facial recognition there maybe. Oh, did I hit 100,000 subs? Cool. I didn't even know I did. It's it's funny, like YouTube is such a different animal, like I don't think I've ever had a video like I don't have any videos go viral on YouTube. It's like a slow burn, people find me and then the only people that really I don't even know how people find me because my videos don't seem to be seen by more people than follow me. Or like, Facebook, I have like 1.3 million followers and I'll get views more than how many followers I have on Instagram. I'll get views more. But here it's just like, it's just a different animal, but cool. 100,000 people that just trying to reach as many people as possible. But thank you for the congrats. I appreciate it. Um, I'm greatly confused and want to know more about Dave Matthews. Oh, is this maybe this one popped back up for a tree? Hopefully you didn't send it again, but greatly confused and want to know more about Dave Matthews. Also, Diego Lopez of the USC and Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 have symmetry. Interesting. I'll screenshot that. I can picture Tom DeLonge. I cannot picture Diego Lopez. Isn't Tom DeLonge I think he's the guy that does the fake, like, UFON, the UFO stuff, and those guys are so full of crap. I mean, they all propagate aliens to hide themselves, the angels. Thanks again, though, Fortree. Hopefully that's the one that I missed that popped back up and you didn't send it again. Only just because I want you to save your money. But I do appreciate it so much. Let's see. Let me try to get rid of this here. Anthony Fuller, do a video on what? I didn't catch what. Oh, Nephilim Giants found. Come see Tyler. Oh, if my buddy Adam, guys, Adam does amazing work in my Facebook group. He's got a really gifted eye as well. Pretty sure Marlon Brando is James Franco. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen you say that, Adam. That I'll have to search that in the Facebook subs area. Nephilim Giant found. Come see. I mean, Nephilim Giants are all over the earth. Unless you mean a live one. Was there a live one found that I'm unaware of? He just posted Bob Barker as George Hamilton. Oh, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, exact same white head of hair. I'll check that out, my friend. Um, you posted in the Facebook group or subs area? Dave Matthews is the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz. I don't see that just thinking of them because I can picture both their faces, but that wouldn't nothing would surprise me. I'm gonna find Dave. I will find Dave. Usually, if I put my sights on someone, I figure them out. The only like the only one, Bad Bunny. Actually, I've been trying to figure him out. Someone posted today. I think it was Holly in our Facebook group posted an interesting one of him and original Eminem, but even though they're like eye and mouth symmetry was there, the heads were very different sized. So I don't know if I'm sold on that one, but usually when I put my sights on someone, I can find them. So coming for you, Dave Matthews. And Sal, Connecticut. Thank you, my friend. I don't know if I said appreciation for the super chat. Thank you. Ray Bolger was the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I'll look him up. I mean, I can picture his face, from I've seen that movie a dozen times probably, but I'll just have to compare them to each other. Who is Judy Garland? So I think there were multiple Judy Garlands. I don't think there was just one. And they do that a lot. They'll switch in and out of roles. But I think one Judy Garland is now Millie Bobby Brown. So who's 11, who used to also be Elizabeth Perkins from the movie Big. I've done a video on this. Um, but I think potentially the other Judy Garland is maybe Winona Ryder. There's some very similar features. But like if you compare Judy Garland to Judy Garland, like when she's young and then like a little older, they're like definitely two different faces. Just like, Paul McCartney, definitely two different things. I figured out that, and I need to do a video on this because I did a video on Val Kilmer, but I truly think Jim Morrison had two different people playing him too. And one became Val Kilmer, who played Jim Morrison in the Doors movie, and the other for sure became Rush Limbaugh. Yeah, Judy Garland in 11. I'm sure that one of the Judy Garlands is Millie Bobby Brown. Notice the name too, 11. And she was also Elizabeth Perkins, if you get what I'm saying. Elvis twins, two Lucifers. Yeah, so I think there's potentially I think they a lot of them hide a angelic twin. And it seems like there's some like duality with that too. Like one will play a very evil version of the twin, and like maybe that's like maybe they're innately good and evil. There's a lot of think of Cain and Abel. There's a lot of good and evil in the Bible. So and Bob Joyce, dude seems pretty good if Elvis's twin actually is Bob Joyce. Because I don't, I'm sure that Elvis is Trump. And I'm getting pretty sure that Elvis was Patton before that too. I used to think Patton was potentially his dad, but that was like really before I was into really realizing that there were fallen angels here. And then Hitler is Elvis's dad. I'm sorry, Hitler is Trump's father. Hitler is Fred Trump, and Ava Braun is Marianne Trump. I'm sure of that. But those, like, what I know now is those are just like roles they played. There's no like biological thing there. They just play roles. And freaking Rosie O'Donnell played the role of Elvis's mom. If you go look up Rosie O'Donnell or go look up Elvis's mom, like go away from the screen for a second, look up Elvis's mom. Everyone will see it's Rosie O'Donnell. Dave Matthews plays Jeremy Piven. I could see that. I could see that. Hitler was female, so it was could be the mother. I think part of, like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There's definitely like inversion going on, but I think part of it is diversion from fallen angels as well. Oh, Green Lantern. Yeah, it was the dream you had about stars in the sky being portals for the source to come to the earth. But, like, it wasn't a dream, my friend. I think I was given back a memory because, like, I've never had something in a dream trigger like, oh, I remember this. And that, like, I think it was given. I that was one of those times where I fasted and prayed and asked how we get here, and I was given that. And um, yeah, it was wild. I came across someone not too long after, and I had shared that with no one that described the same thing to me. That's how our souls get here through portals, and it's like I remember the water being just sky blue too. But thanks for mentioning that. I love that video I did. You saw Bob Joyce in person refuting that claim, but well, I mean, seeing someone in person doesn't mean it's not true. I've seen Vince Vaughn in person, but I still think he's a fallen angel. Vince Vaughn, like I said earlier, he went to my high school. Uncle Pappy too. And Uncle Pappy went to my middle school. Way different ages. I think where I grew up is like a hotbed for fallen angels because I grew up in a pretty wealthy like suburb of Chicago. I wasn't wealthy. All my friends were wealthy, but my single mother, mom, and raising me and my brothers, we weren't well off. But I think that area is, like I live 5 miles from Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan was close to me. Vince Vaughn went to my high school. Robin Williams went to my middle school. I think it's a hotbed. The shooting in Wisconsin, the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, that happened like 25 minutes from my house, and all that stuff. Like he's one of them too. Kyle Rittenhouse used to be Noah Ponzer from the school, the with the I don't want to say too much because that's one that gets censored pretty bad. If you guys catch my drift. What about Carrie Richards, 100-meter runner? She makes the devil sign when she was even 8 or 9 years old. That's what I'm saying. They go back. They go back. This is so cool. Someone sent me this. I wish I could give credit to the person that sent it, but so I've done 7 Robin Williams videos on him being Uncle Pappy and now him being Teddy Roosevelt. He was in the show Mork and Mindy. Do you know what the show Mork and Mindy is about? Mork, who was played by Robin Williams, aka Teddy Roosevelt, was an alien. And you know how he aged? He aged backwards in Mork and Mindy. He aged backwards. He would get younger. They were telling us, just like the movie Benjamin Buttons. So I need to do a video on that still too. I have like a laundry list of things I need to do a video on. Anthony, the clearest Nephilim giant ever, a quarter-mile long, elongated skull. Still has hair. Interesting. And search Anthony for Jesus. I'll check that out, my friend. I just screenshotted it because I love doing some giant videos. Love the giants, love the dragons, the videos, that is. Hey, look at that. Of course, I knew it happened eventually. I'm stuck at 666 people in here. Just like, as soon as I say it, it always goes away. Cool algorithm, cool YouTube, real funny. Tolkien is Peter Jackson, aka. Oh, what an interesting thing that would be if J.R. Tolkien was Peter Jackson. You're probably so dead on. Just even saying that, I'm sure they probably would do that. It seems so right up. Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. That was the first one I ever figured out where they mocked us so hard that they would fake a death, and then that person would play the person who they used to be was J Lo. I figured out Selena was J Lo, and I was like I just saw a picture of Selena. I was like, that's ugly J Lo, or like uglier J Lo, and that was like layer by layer, the onion has been peeled back for me, and it's when you can do this full time, like literally a gift from God to be able to do this full time. It's helped me just see so many more layers of the onion. And I think that's like a lot of people say I'm gifted, but I think a lot of people don't realize how much time I invest in this too, because I'm passionate about helping people see the truth. Have I discovered who Colonel Sanders is? No, I don't. But Colonel Sanders makes me think of Larry David. I figured out, so I did a video on all of Seinfeld, but I didn't figure out Larry David. And then someone's like, I can't believe you did this without figuring out Larry David. So then I figured out Larry David, and I will not be able to tell you his name because he's like an offshoot friend of the people in the show of like Bob Hope and Dean Martin and Jerry Still not Jerry Stiller. Yeah, Jerry Stiller? No, Jerry Lewis. Um, but I haven't done a video on him, but I found him. Colonel Sanders makes me think of Larry David, probably because of who's he related to? The what's that guy's name? Bernie. Bernie. Cornelius. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Liv Schreiber is Harvey Korman. I'd love to know if King James or his mother, Queen Elizabeth, match anyone. I've looked at King James and no one's like nothing's triggered. I know who Liv Schreiber is, but I don't know Harvey Korman. I'll screenshot that. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. My dog's name is Harvey. I don't know who Harvey Korman is, though. Who's Harvey Korman? Who is that? Anyone? Harvey Korman, anyone? What if Tolkien is J.K. Rowling's when you first have to? Nothing would surprise me. Oh, the mayor in Blazing Saddles. Gotcha. Okay. I'll look into that. Thank you, Karam. Cream? Karam? My apologies if I butchered that. Thank you, though, my friend. I appreciate it. Blazing Saddles. Before my time. Before my time, but I'll look into it. I screenshotted it. I don't think a lot of people have told me that Pedro is Burt Reynolds. I think Pedro is just a character. I don't think he's like a full time being. I think Pedro is played by Orlando Bloom. I've done a video on it. I think the video is pretty hard to deny, but Burt Reynolds is out there somewhere. I'm open to being wrong. I'm always open to being wrong because it just means I'm closer to knowing the real truth. Babe Ruth, I've speculated, is potentially John Goodman or what's his name, Artie Lang. I've seen both Artie Lang and John Goodman wear a Babe Ruth, like do a Babe Ruth pose in a Babe Ruth uniform. I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance John Goodman, who used to be Curly from the Three Stooges, and if you just think of Curly and John Goodman, they're both like bigger, very nimble on their feet, athletic beings. I could see them being Babe Ruth. I lean more towards John Goodman as Babe Ruth. Yes. Oh, and see, I don't even know he played Babe in a movie. There you go. We may have just gotten our answer. Mark Ruffalo and Gabe Kaplan. I've I've been wondering about Mark Ruffalo was like a guy that kind of came on the scene out of nowhere. So I've been kind of wondering about him, but nothing triggers for me, and I don't know who Gabe Kaplan is, so maybe that's why. If I don't know who they are, I'm not going to see them and be like, "Oh, you're this person," if I don't know who this person was. Yeah, Deborah Messing looks a lot like Lucille Ball too, but and that's another one where I think Lucille Ball is potentially was played by two people, and I think one maybe is Deborah Messing, and the other is maybe Jenny McCarthy. And then I always find this so interesting. I didn't figure this one out, but I think it's a great catch is that in the I Love Lucy show, you obviously have Lucy, which is Luci. Okay, and then you have Fred, so Lucif, and then you have Ethel, Lucife, and you have Ricky, Lucifer. So not only is it Lucifer and Ball, but it's literally Lucy, Fred, Ethel. It like spells Lucifer. It's wild. Gabe Kaplan, welcome back, Cotter. Got it. Got it. I'm dating myself here, I guess. Hey, what's up, TJ? I haven't figured out King Charles or Queen Elizabeth, although I do think Queen Elizabeth played Dolores Cannon. I'm quite sure of that for anyone who knows. If you're like, Dolores Cannon's one of those people that like can fool you for a while, kind of like who's the reptilian guy, David Icke. Like David Icke, when you're like half awake, you think is telling the truth, and you think when you're half awake, you think Dolores Cannon's telling the truth, and when you're like three-quarters of the way awake, you think people like David Weiss, who does tell a lot of truth, but he's also a liar, just like all the rest of the flat Earth agent community that unfortunately befriended me before for a year before I figured them out. So I want to know who Larry Bird is too. One, because my good friend has always tried to tell me Larry Bird was better than Michael Jordan. Two, because Larry Bird wore number 33. Yeah, Rob Skiba was one of those flat Earth deceivers too. He's still alive, my friend. All you got to do, go to if you need to know about him, go to Yandex, the search browser Yandex, and just type in Rob Skiba Freemason, and you'll see all you need to see. Larry Bird was the goat. I personally think Michael Jordan, aka Jackie Robinson, was the goat, but I don't need to debate these fallen angels anymore. Larry Bird played a lot of darts. That might be a tip. Okay, interesting. He's got such a unique face. I feel like I should be able to figure out him too. Yeah, my friend was from like the East Coast before he moved to Illinois, so he was brainwashed by Larry Bird. Well, that's the thing. Why invert gender when they're shapeshifters? And thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. Um, that's why I'm saying I don't know if I fully agree with that narrative anymore. And part of me wonders if all angels are male. It says fallen angels took human wives. So maybe a lot of the inversion isn't inversion, it's fallen angels playing the part of women. I saw someone speculate on that once, and it resonated somewhat. It resonated. Hans Wormhat is Eric Dubay. I'm screenshotting that because everyone tries to tell me Eric Dubay is not a shill, and I could not agree less. I think he's right. I think he's just in a different group than David Weiss and Sean Hibbler and Flat Earth Millionaire and Mark Sargent and Rob Skiba. Who else am I missing? Austin Whitsitt. All these fake flat earthers that I expose the crap, Jaronism, all these guys. Yeah, so far everything I've seen from Jonathan Kleck I've liked. I I've seen some. I haven't seen a lot because I don't watch a lot of content because I want my own thoughts. I want my own revelations. I want my own like fasting and prayers to come through. So I don't watch hardly anyone. Um, really don't. Why do people fake being truth tellers? Um, it's like Candace Owens, like if you can give people a lot of truth, then my dog's barking because he doesn't like fake truth tellers. Um, if you can give people a lot of truth, especially like hidden truth, well, they'll trust you. And then they can lead you astray in the 10% that they want to. And unfortunately, there's so many of them. And unfortunately, because there are so many, and especially if you have a big platform like me, like people unfortunately think that about me sometimes. But I'm like, dude, I'm as real as you get. I'm as honest as they get. I'm honest to a fault. I was a teacher for 20 years, which you can research. No Fallen Angels. You might go through high school again for 4 years, but you're not teaching PE for 20 years as a fallen angel. I'll tell you that. Did I get your message about Michael Jackson? Probably not. Maybe. I don't remember. I did a video on him just the other week on how he's Bruno Mars now. Yeah, guys, any Candace stated on the show that she is a Freemason of Turning Point. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Well, and she's not even, she's one. Candace was currently, I think she is currently Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And I think at one point she was Oprah. I found some pretty compelling evidence showing that there's been two Candaces, and one was Oprah and one is Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And I do think Halle Berry played the part at one point too. Rockets always go up and then come back down, that's for sure. I do not know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is, my friend. I do not. Alexander the Great being Wayne Gretzky. His nickname is the Great One. Huh. You guys are giving me some good screenshots today. I'll check that out. I mean, yeah, Wayne Gretzky has to be, right? I think so. I've never subscribed to anyone before Tyler. Love the content and exposing of wickedness. Hallelujah. Ben, thank you, my friend. You guys, I'm like, every day someone tells me that they've never subscribed to someone before, and I'm the first or the only, and it's like the most humbling thing in the world. Like I was literally a PE teacher for 20 years, woke up, tried to share all the stuff I was learning with everyone I knew. No one wanted to listen. So I turned to the internet, and I never thought it would turn into like what it has. People telling me that I'm the only person they've ever subscribed to. In 17 years, I've had someone say they were on Facebook for 17 years and they never even considered subscribing to someone until me. So it's like, I don't know. It's very humbling. And like, luckily I was a PE teacher and a coach and a strength and conditioning coach. And that was like the biggest thing I always stressed with my athletes was just be an ass kicker, but always remaining humble. And I never realized how much of a message it was going to be for myself. um, Thanks, Flex Appeal. I, I appreciate the humor in how you presented that. I don't think Robert De Niro has played Jeffrey Epstein, but I also didn't think Jerry Seinfeld has. I'm gonna look into it more. Like I think Epstein is his own character. So I that's why I have a hard time with Jerry Seinfeld being it because like Epstein was Andrew Jackson. I'm sure of that. I mean, pretty sure of that. Well, let's see. I saw something I wanted to comment on. Yeah, Al Bundy definitely wore number 33. He did. BK, thank you. Yeah, guys, like I said, it's so humbling for people to tell me that. And I truly appreciate it too. It's allowed, because of people subscribing to me, like I can do this full time. It's funny, I went to the post office where I live in Florida and I applied for a job. And and not only that, but I was making a little bit of money on TikTok, but nowhere close to cover bills or anything like that. So I also went to AutoZone. I was just looking for a driving job, and AutoZone said they were going to pay me like 13 bucks an hour, and I was like, I just can't justify that. Like it just wasn't worth my time. I felt like I could make like a really good TikTok video and make like more than $13 an hour, and then I tried to get a job at the post office, and like those within a couple of days of applying for those jobs, Facebook approved my like monetization to get subscribers. And I was like, oh, like if I could just get, I don't know, a couple hundred subscribers, that would be so cool. And every day someone subscribes to me and is telling me I'm there first. So I think it's just truly amazing that, and it's allowed me to do this full time. Because if I was working a 9 to 5, I would probably put out a video or two a week, not one every single day. So, last interview, Steve Bannon, he took looked so much like De Niro. Hey, like nothing is, I don't disregard anything. I don't. I look into everything. Um, I don't disregard anything. I've learned too much to still disregard anything. KJ, thanks. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, I'm going to, no promises, but I'm going to definitely look for Dave. Definitely going to look for Dave. That would be a fun one just for me on a personal level because I was a. All right, you want a story? I'll tell you a story. Here's a story that I can't believe I'm going to tell on a live. I went to a Dave Matthews concert when I was in college at Soldier Field in Chicago, and I went with my wife and two or three friends. So I'm gonna get to these super chats in a second. Hopefully they don't go away. But so I went to this Dave Matthews concert, and I'm just sitting there. It's a beautiful summer night in Chicago, and all of a sudden I feel like warmth on my back. Like what's going on? It feels like warm liquid, and I look, and there's a guy who had poked a hole in his cup. He was peeing into his cup, and because he poked a hole in it so it wouldn't leak on his hand, that it would leak out the cup, and it was just draining on my back, just pee, just warm pee draining on my back, and like I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, no, it's beer, it's beer. I'm like, guy, I saw your Johnson. I saw you holding your Johnson peeing into the cup, and I felt how warm it was. He's like, it's beer. I'm like, if it's beer, drink it. So he could see I was pretty heated, and like I was a pretty like worked out. I was a pretty big dude in college, and he could just see I wasn't very happy. So he pretended to take a sip, and I was like, no, like you need to drink it if you were telling me it's beer. And he pretended again, and he had no shirt on, and he had a nipple ring. So I took my pinky and I put it in his nipple ring and I said, drink it. And he did that, and I took my other finger and tipped it up, and he drank his whole glass of pee. And after, I was like a 20-year-old college kid after with my wife and my friends. She wasn't my wife at the time, my girlfriend, who is my wife. Um, I was like, should have probably punched that guy, right? And they're like, no, you made him drink his own glass of pee. It's a much better story. I was like, okay. So here I am telling it 25 years later on a live YouTube with 691 people. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. I haven't told that ever, at least online. KJ, thank you again, my friend. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I don't know why there's two of them on here. Maybe you sent two, but much appreciation for that awesome, kind, generous super chat. Good for me. Yeah, I figured it's a good story to tell 700 people and probably several thousand more that watch this on the replay. So, all right, guys, I'm pushing 100 minutes here, so I think I'm going to take one more question or so. Amy, thank you. I appreciate that super kind comment. Much appreciated. That's a hilariously wise move for a 20-year-old. Well, like I've always had like a no fear side to me. Kind of been, I wouldn't say a hothead, but like I've been in a few fights, but they've were always to protect people. I'm glad I didn't have to fight over getting beer spilled on, or beer, piss, pee, warm urine spilled on me, poured on me, basically. Here's a great one to end on. Ashley, why do they hide the true nature of this world? Well, I'm going to tell you, not my opinion, but I'm going to tell you 1,000% my experience with that. And I think a lot of people's, and it's the biggest reason why I do what I do, is because when I thought I lived on a globe and I thought evolution was real and I thought the Big Bang was real, I didn't believe in any sort of heaven or heavenly father or creator or God or, I thought the Bible was nonsense. And I was born into a Christian family, but I like not an overly practicing one, but I was baptized, I was confirmed, I went to like CCD or Sunday school, whatever you call it, for, different people call it different things. But when I started going to public school, I thought that stuff was nonsense because in my mind, God couldn't exist at the same time evolution did, and God couldn't exist at the same time the Big Bang did. And like we were just one of trillions of planets and trillions of galaxies, and like it all just seemed so by chance. And that's why they do it. That's why they hide the reality of it. Because when you know there's a firmament and you know you're at the center of creation, you can't deny that there was a heavenly creator. And they are the fallen angels that hide it from us because they are mad at God because they're stuck down here, and they're mad at us because I think we come here, have these soul experience or these experiences for our soul, and then we get to go back up to heaven. And they're stuck here. So, that was a great question. And it's honestly, yes, I care about people. Yes, I care about the truth. Yes, I can't stand liars. But more than anything is I want people to be fearless, like I am fearless now, because I know I'm a spiritual being experiencing life here in earth, not on earth, not on spinning ball earth, but in God covered by the firmament created earth. And once you know that, you shouldn't be fearful. You should get rid of all your fear because this is just temporary. This is like the video game. And they don't want you to know that because they want you fearful, because a fearful person will seek answers. And who gives the answers? Well, the talking idiots on the TV. And most people listen to them. And if you knew you were in a God created heavenly earthly realm, well, then the only laws you would listen to aren't theirs. it's our fathers. So that's why. That's why. And I just hope I can be a guy here inspiring people to find their fearlessness like I did. So that's it. P is good for you because fittest flat earther can do no harm. He taught a lesson on health. Yeah. Well, there is urine therapy, that's for sure. That was long before I knew that, Fartree, but that is an amazing comment. Yeah, that was it. I was giving him a life learning health lesson. Maybe that guy will live a couple years longer now because he drank his own pee. Urine therapy, right? All right, guys. I appreciate you all joining me. I appreciate the kindness and the just amazing words and the people telling me that I'm the first time they've subscribed to someone. Like I said, so just absolute humbling, warms my heart. And you guys being here on these lives help me personally just to feel more connected to people. So thanks, guys. So much love. And here, I'll end on this too. I'm doing a fast with the new moon. I think it's maybe February 17th. So I'm fasting today, but only like a 40-hour fast. But on with the new moon, I can't remember the date. I think the 17th. I'm going to do a several day fast. I invite you guys, I encourage you guys to join me, whether it's small of it, part of it, but I will definitely be going live again then because I like to go live when I'm fasting because I just, like I said, I'm sharp, I feel good. So if you don't, you'll probably see me before then, but definitely be on the lookout come 17th or 18th. All right. Much love, guys. Have an awesome night and remember to be fearless. Love y'all.